pretty much the first half of our careers was always like, okay, well, I need a song that I can play live, so I'd write it all completely on the piano, then go into the studio and we'd add stuff on top of that.
Oh my God, I'm clinging to
Whereas more recently, we like brought in the idea and tried to build it around it, not necessarily making it a like piano song, but just something where there's like piano in it and other instruments can like take up the slack. Well, so the song started with me actually trying to rip off Mitski, and I don't know if there's even a specific song, but the very first line, so I play, it's an F major chord, but the vocals are like, oh my God, which is like a F minor. I play the A on the piano, but I hit the A flat. I was basically aiming for that kind of distance, which maybe that's the like Mitski part of it, is kind of using a lot of major chords, but throwing in some things that sound slightly off. When we first started Pocket Vinyl, I thought that inspiration was something that you just happened upon, like finding mushrooms in the woods or something. And as I've gotten older, I learned that you can force creativity, and that creativity is not something that has power over you, but really is something that you can go out and find. And sometimes it takes a lot more effort to, but it's still like it's there to harness. I don't know. You just find it. Like sometimes I'll even just sit down at the piano and just start moving my hands. Like I don't know. Let's see if we can. If I'll just be like. I mean, often I'll be writing something and I'll just do like a mumble gibberish. Like I'll just be like, you know, and for whatever reason at the time I was thinking, I do not like taking the Lord's name in vain. I grew up in a very Christian atmosphere, and that was like one of the worst things you could do was say, oh my God. However, I remember there were several hymns which would say like oh my God, da, da, or whatever. And I remember like asking my parents one time, like, how come that's okay? And they're like, well, that's in a hymn. Like, I don't exactly remember what they said, but the message I got was like, don't worry about it. It got so ingrained in me of it just doesn't feel good. Like I'd say, oh my gosh, or something. And I remember when I kind of was like going through like a theological exploration and awakening, I remember I was like, you know what, I'm going to hold on to that. For whatever reason in my mind, and still to this day, I was like, I want to keep that sacred. I just don't, I don't need to. I don't need to say that. And so then I kind of thought of it like a thunder blanket. Like for whatever reason, like not saying, oh my God, or taking the Lord's name in vain, it just feels comfortable to me. But again, at the same time, I wanted to push myself and stuff, and so like to write an entire song where I say, oh my God, 4 times throughout the song, and then trying to explain it all and like reflect on that sounded like a challenge. What's worse than cursing is the verse that blurs the Lord's name in vain. And then I also was trying to give myself a goal, which sometimes I do, of seeing if I could make an entire song of just whole notes that would be interesting. And so like on piano, it's a very uninteresting song. Just, oh my God, like a parable that's made its point. This song it's almost all block chords on the piano, which is part of I still haven't exactly figured out how to play it live on solo piano. Yeah, but I had basically the 2 parts. There's just the verse, and then the chorus, which has a rhythm to it that I use quite often, which is like bum, 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 bum. I didn't really exactly know where the song would go until I got with Alex. I believe I came just with the chords like, oh my God, and like I think we recorded just a demo of me. I think I played it and then sang vocals over it just to like show you what it was. Yep. And I knew I wanted it to be like higher energy or whatever. Do you remember we must have started with the drums. That unlocked the song for me anyway. But then this, I remember this excited me. I was like, yeah, that. Like, I wanted to run towards that. I think you were at the electric drum kit.
I was at the kit,
and
yeah.
you like started, and I was like, wait, that, like, play that again. And then we just kind of followed it from there.
I remember doing it, and I was like, I don't think Eric's gonna go for this. He's gonna think this is probably cheesy. And I was like,
and I was like, no, that's the best.
Let's go.
Yes. And then, can you pull up the bass? It was one more time going through the chord progression, but the lyrics were gone. Like, we knew that they weren't there.
And so I do think you didn't want to go straight to the chorus.
No, the song needed to build more. And then so you came up with this part.
It's funny. It sounds funny when you just play it on piano.
I know, it sounds really dorky on just piano.
Yeah.
But here, solo that, because it sounds so like shredding. It was like the perfect tone of what we were like looking for. Just like kind of fun, and it's also like, again, it's like kind of funny. Like that's where just like soloing it, and that's like once the like drum beat and stuff and like the bit and everything. It just, to me, it was like kind of running towards like I don't think I'd write something like this. But it sounds good. Okay,
I don't
let's
usually
go.
write something like that either. I was like, is it weird to do this?
I know, yeah, where it's like when you're working in a genre I feel like you're not used to, you almost feel like a bit of imposter syndrome, and you're like, is anyone gonna notice that like we don't know what we're doing? And then so as the song goes on, it goes to the chorus.
My secular respect is wrecked the second I check the sand.
The verse vocals have like a distorted tone to them.
Oh my God.
Slightly distorted.
Like a parable that's made its
Yeah.
point.
And the second half of each verse has these super high distorted ones.
I'm clinging to a golden artifact. You say the wrong thing, better watch your back.
And on their own, the distorted guys on top sound like
I'm clinging to a golden artifact. You say the wrong thing, better watch your back. You trample the ground and cruise like a sound in the heat.
I thought it would just be more of like an indie rock song, but then once we got like the that in there, it was just like, oh, it's a dance song, really. Like, it's a road we've only gone down with this song, and I'd like to go down that road more in the future, but it's even though we did this and stuff, even there's a part of me that feels like, oh yeah, this is a one-off thing. I don't know if we can do it again. Like, someone might notice and we'll get in trouble or something, like, because it's not like your wheelhouse, but if you can explore those times where you feel uncomfortable and like trying to do something like this, even though it's like very like kind of almost sugary and poppy, it's because it's not like either of our intuition, it's fertile for creative ground.
Still comforts me to drape it on just like a thunder blanket. Just like a thunder blanket.
Our first few albums, I felt like I had to wait for the songs to come to me. Whereas now, again, for the last 7 years, I feel like almost every song, I feel like I'm like out in the woods with a knife in my mouth, like hunting for the songs, and you kind of like grab one and, jump on it and stab it and bring it home and cook it all up and make it all up, and then by the time you serve it and everything, it looks completely different than when you first saw it. And so it's like, it's exciting because you're like, wow, I can do anything. And it's also, sometimes I just look at this piano and all the songs I will write in the future are right here. Like, they're these same notes and everything. And I don't know what they are. There's going to be stuff like 30 years from now, and I will find a song, and I have had access to the exact same notes. And it almost feels like it's hiding from me.